The military should have been helping the kids instead of hunting them down in season 5 finale. I guess that is my hot take for Stranger Things season 5. I did not like season 5, and I did not like its ending. Look, I'm a very big fan of cheesy, everyone lives their best lives endings, and I cry like a little bitch when I see my favorite characters die, especially knowing that they had so much potential and an entire life ahead of them, but sometimes it doesn't make sense that some characters survive. I would rather watch a heartbreaking but a great show and then read countless fanfictions to soothe my pain over losing my favorite character rather than see a very bleak finale to a show that I genuinely cared about. A show with such a great first season, such a strong first season, but then for some reason the writers decided that they will treat their audience like idiots. The final battle of season 5 was so underwhelming and so boring that I was very tempted to grab my phone and start scrolling through Instagram or YouTube, and I don't usually do that because that's a rule of mine to do one thing at a time since my brain is fried from all the social media and I'm trying my best not to zone out when I'm watching a movie by myself. And it was very difficult to do it this time. I hate that the whole battle with an interdimensional eldritch horror felt like a walk in the park. It was over in like 5 minutes, nobody broke an arm or a leg, no scratches, no accidents, nothing happened to the main characters. It's very difficult to be invested in a show when you just feel that there's just no stakes involved. Like you know that nobody's gonna die.
This is very lucky indeed.
For some reason, Vecna decided that this was the best time to give the Demogorgons a day of work. For 5 seasons, we've been told and shown that it's a hive mind. Where is the hive?
There is the hive, Henry! There is the hive!
Shithead! It's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
The children to monsters ratio is absurd. I saw people saying that the writers didn't include Demogorgons in the final battle because they simply didn't know how the characters will handle them. Well, yes, no shit. But that's why I think they should have used the military. That way they would have covered the 2 giant plot holes. First one being the absence of Demogorgons in Dimension X, and the second one is that the military just let everyone go at the end of the show as if they didn't commit crimes.
You can go.
The first few episodes of season 5 gave me the impression that the military will switch sides and join the kids in their last battle against Vecna in the end of the show because there was clearly tension between Dr. K and the other military guys who were not happy that their soldiers were dying like flies. It seemed like they were starting to doubt K's approach to the whole operation with 11, and I thought that they will decide at some point that perhaps they should not blindly follow her orders. I know it's a little unrealistic to expect soldiers to suddenly develop critical thinking skills and oppose blind subordination, but hey, if we can have Demogorgons, I believe we can have that one too. And that's why I thought that at some point those 2 soldiers will find out about the whole wormhole situation and realize that there's literally no reason to chase kids because they have a bigger problem to deal with. That hunting 11 down should not be their primal concern and that they should gather their forces to prevent the end of the world from happening instead, and that they're all going to die if they don't switch their tactics. But because Dr. K was literally not caring about how many had to die in order for her to complete her mission, and frankly she was very delusional and obsessed, so she couldn't assess the situation rationally. So I kind of expected that this guy would step in and perhaps secretly kill Dr. K to take over the operation and work with the kids. The reason why the army would agree to follow the kids and their plan is, I think it could have been that they barely had any time to put together a different plan. Also, they knew that 11 had powers, so they kinda had to go with what she wanted to do because she already defeated Vecna once. And it wouldn't be also out of nowhere, you know? This guy, we've seen him say this.
With all due respect, these kids are in danger. To use them as bait seems...
Seems what, Sergeant?
reckless.
So we could have had a good guy who had a conscience and who also wanted to do the right thing and finally decided that he can no longer just stand by and had to do something. Maybe it's not exactly how this would work in real world, but I think this detail is that we as audience could have overlooked and not overthink too much. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean that the military should have suddenly turned into good guys who cherish friendships and ride unicorns and rainbows. No, I mean the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of situation. A situation when you're forced to work together to save, in this case, an entire freaking world. Just to be clear, I'm not interested in defending the military. I think it's very realistic and appropriate that the show portrays them as being cold and ruthless. The military in real world killed innocent people for much less, but even though they're assholes who also don't want to die. The inherent tendency for self-preservation sometimes forces people to collaborate despite their differences. I think they could have shown that the military were, even planning on maybe not killing, but at least detaining everyone after their fight with Vecna. But then they realized that in her recklessness, Dr. K basically tied their hands by kidnapping the kids, and they might put themselves in a very tricky situation if they don't let everyone go, because the parents will have a lot of questions about their missing kids. So they just decide to let everyone go, but also swear to secrecy and, work something out. I genuinely cannot believe that they let Hopper go, though. Honestly, I have no idea how that would be possible even in that scenario. It's so unrealistic. But it's even more unrealistic that they let everyone go while Dr. K was alive. I don't know why the writers thought that we will not have questions about this. I don't want hyper-realism in this type of shows, because of course in real life, these people wouldn't have made it out alive after they escaped Upside Down and got caught by the military, but just make it make some sense, please. The reason I thought the military will join the fight was because I thought it would be them fighting all the Demogorgons and the bats and all the Demo dogs and all the other creepy creatures, but instead the writers decided that those creatures don't exist anymore.
My people are out there somewhere.
Look, I love the show. I loved the first season, but I also love many characters from that show. They have a special place in my heart. But I don't care, I'm not gonna defend the show just because I liked it and I cared about it. Copium is not my drug of choice. I don't care for explanation and excuses from the screenwriters after the show ended. I wouldn't be questioning every small little plot hole and inconsistency if they kept the most important plot lines consistent and logical. But because the glaring plot holes are so distracting, it takes you out of the movie so much that you start noticing every mistake, because it's not longer you watching a movie and being so engrossed in the story that you don't care about anything else. It's you trying to understand why the writers decided that they can treat you like a brainless idiot. There was a moment in the show when Will started speaking to Henry, and I genuinely thought that they're gonna bully Vecna to death, like in It. I'm glad they didn't go there, but for a moment, it genuinely seemed like a possible scenario. That's how low my expectations were by the end of the season. They also tried so hard to convince us that the military is a threat the entire runtime of the show, but after season 1, the military is just there, and it's so incompetent. And the reason why it bothers me is because the ugly side effect of making the military useless is that I can't take the show seriously when one Demogorgon can rip to shreds an entire armed army. But it's powerless against a group of teens with baseball bats and one rifle, or a drunk woman with a wine bottle. The military is useless and the Demogorgon's powers are inconsistent. Brilliant story writing, thank you so much. Instead of tying up everything together with a pretty bow for a holiday present, the Duffer brothers created even more plot holes in their script, which by now is practically a sieve, and delivered the most underwhelming and meager show finale. Of course, there are scenes which I thought were nice, because I love the characters. Not all of them, but most of them. But those scenes felt like finding a few pennies in a pile of shit. Not really worth smearing your hands in it, and everything now stings. I know I might be bitter, but I think that I'm allowed to be because I expected more from this show. Side note, for some reason I expected the other dimension to be a cold, icy wasteland. I thought those creatures thrived in cold environments.
But in the cold, it thrives.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't want our main characters to catch a cold, God forbid. Why would we make the journey to fight a Lovecraftian godlike creature hard and full of obstacles? Anyways, in conclusion, I think the military should have been there fighting the Demogorgons and the bats and the vines and everything, while our main characters were trying to get to Henry and kill them. There is also the fact that they killed Henry so easily. Okay, I think that I'm gonna leave that for another video. So yeah, that's my rant on specifically the military subplot of the show. Some may say that it would have been better if the military wasn't even involved in season 5, and I can understand where they're coming from, but I also understand why the military is part of 11's story, so I just wish they handled it better. Overall, I did not like the ending. I did not like the season, I said that already. I know some people said it was underwhelming but still enjoyable, but personally to me it felt like eating a very flavorless dish to satiate my hunger because there was no other food option available. That's what I was served. I might do another video about season finale, but I'm still debating whether I should or not. I have an almost finished script for a video about Will's coming out scene because that was cringe. It was such a disappointing piece of screenwriting for my taste, but I'm still working on it because the amount of homophobia, the amount of homophobic commentary surrounding this episode is astounding. I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised, but it's still very jarring to see so many videos where people are simply furious that the character is gay. My problem wasn't with him coming out. In fact, I expected that and I wanted to see how they handle this scene, how they make him come out to his friends. But I hated the awkward acting, the awkward directing, everything about that scene made me cringe, but I will talk about it probably in another video. That's it for this video. Leave your comments below if you want to say something about season 5 or the season finale or about the plot holes, because I am curious to hear your opinions as I am now watching many YouTubers' commentary on the show's finale, because many of them articulate very well all the problems I have with the show, and the rants are welcomed. I want us to share our frustrations together. If you enjoyed my rant, consider subscribing. I have a lot of opinions on different movies and topics, and maybe some of them will resonate with you and entertain you. I'm almost done with my K-pop Demon Hunters video, and I'm currently finishing writing my Christie commentary, so maybe it's something you would want to hear me talk about. Have a nice day, and thanks for watching.